Hi, folks. I'm Hub Arkush along with Kevin Fishbain and Arthur Arkush here previewing the Bears. Well, we're going to call it pretty close to a must-win game in Foxborough against the New England Patriots. And Kevin, let's start with that. New England Patriots have had the best home field advantage in the NFL over the past decade. This is a tough place to go win at any time.
It is, and Tom Brady's pretty much unbeatable in Foxborough, especially when they get out to an early lead. And then you take into account that they've had extra days to repair, extra days to rest, coming off a big Thursday night win over the Jets last week. The Patriots are clicking. They're coming together at the right time after that bad Monday night loss a few weeks ago to Kansas City. So the Bears are not really getting them at the right time. Skills-wise, although, they are getting them at the right time health-wise because the Patriots are going to be without Chandler Jones.
Right, and I was going to go there next, Arthur. You never want to see anybody get injured, but if you can get the Patriots without two of their best defensive players, they lost Gerard Mayo a couple of weeks ago. Now they've lost Chandler Jones for a month. Those are probably their two biggest playmakers. That should give the Bears a little bit of help on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Throw Stephen Ridley into the list as well. And look, the Bears aren't going to apologize for the Patriots' injury situation. We know Chicago's dealt with their own issues this year, but Jermon Bushrod does catch a little break, not having to deal with Chandler Jones. He really is the pass rush for that team, at least from the front four. So yeah, it's a good break, but the Bears are going to have to make their own breaks as well if they're going to have any shot in New England.
Yeah, and Kevin, you know, the temptation is to talk about the offense because of the Bears' struggles last week, but when you're talking about the Patriots, you got to start with Tom Brady and their offense and the challenges for the Bears' defense. Arthur mentioned Ridley gone, Shane Vereen, Brock's brother, steps up. He's the starting running back. The biggest concern I'd have if I'm the Chicago Bears is Rob Gronkowski. Each of the last couple of weeks has looked a little bit more and more like Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, he's getting healthier and healthier every week. He's an absolute matchup nightmare, and you hear people talk about that with the Bears when the Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, Martellus Bennett, but Gronk is kind of your prototypical guy. You know, he runs like a deer, he's huge, he can run block, and the Bears have struggled against tight ends. They gave up a lot of yards to Charles Clay last week. We all know what happened when they went to Carolina. Greg Olsen had a big game, and here comes Gronkowski. You know, it's going to be a big game potentially for Ryan Mundy, Chris Conti, if John Bostic's back, their best coverage linebacker, being able to get Gronkowski off his route off the line and try to defend him, which is a very difficult thing to do. He's got a big catch radius.
Arthur, you've got Julian Edelman has stepped up and become Wes Welker without really batting an eye, but Danny Amendola has been a big disappointment. He did catch a touchdown last week. Brandon LaFell, who was a bust in Carolina, is becoming a playmaker for the Patriots. He's got 3 touchdowns. We always assume the Patriots aren't great at receiver. It's the tight ends you got to watch out for, but Brady's getting more and more comfortable with this group of wideouts.
He is, and you can expect a bounce-back performance from Julian Edelman, who had a couple drops last Thursday night, and Danny Amendola, like you said, had the wonderful touchdown grab for them, and you kind of wondered when Kembrell Tompkins, was released a few weeks ago. You haven't seen the former second-rounder play at all. There had to be something going on. You've seen Brandon LaFell develop a little bit. He's given them a deep passing game, but also the ability to turn short passes into long gains. So he's one more player they're going to have to be aware of.
All right, Kevin, we flip it around now. Of course, there is no Mayo, there is no Jones, but there's still a Vince Wilfork, there's still a Rob Ninkovich, there's a Dante Hightower who's playing lights out, and on the corners, Darrelle Revis and Brandon Browner. That's probably the most fascinating matchup of the game with, of course, Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall.
It's the formula to beat the Bears. You got to have physical, big cornerbacks that can man up guys so that you can get after the quarterback. And that's what the Patriots have in Revis and Browner. I would expect Revis to be on Marshall. They know each other from Brandon's days in Miami and Revis' days with the Jets. And then Brandon Browner, his first game back, he's probably getting in better condition this week to face either Alshon Jeffrey or Marshall, whoever he takes on. You got Devin McCourty at safety, who's been a ball hawk in his career. And the one interesting matchup I'm curious to watch is how they play Matt Forte. Bill Belichick had a lot of great things to say about Forte, so you know he's a big part of their game plan. Dante Hightower is an athletic linebacker. I look to see if they could do what Carolina did, which is really limit Forte after the catch, using Hightower and Jamie Collins to do that.
You know, guys, normally you think the Bears want to get them in a shootout. That's their best chance the way this team is constituted to win. You don't want to get into a shootout with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in Foxborough, and that brings me to the last matchup. Arthur, I don't think there's any argument Bill Belichick is the best active coach in the National Football League. He's headed for the Hall of Fame. Mark Trestman a little under fire this past week after the way things went against the Dolphins. It's another matchup that doesn't really favor the Bears.
No, it doesn't. Bill Belichick, a chameleon, constantly reinventing himself in that team, and it's been pretty impressive. And Bill Belichick, we have to give an edge to over Mark Trestman. It's got to be this Bears pass rush that gets after Brady and gives them a chance this week.
Well, we know the Bears will show up. We know they'll show up to fight and win. Hopefully it'll be a big ball game, a good ball game from both sides, one we'll enjoy. For all the best in coverage on everything Chicago Bears, stay right where you're at 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at chicagofootball.com.